take your spotlight. If I wrote you a symphony, just to say how much.
Hello, LGBTQ plus DL men, women who secretly love us and support us. And if you don't identify with any of those labels, you're still free to subscribe to the channel. So I was thinking about doing this video actually last night, but I was feeling a little bit kind of tired, I guess. Well, not really. I kind of just wanted to relax, and that's what I did. So anyway, I'm starting the lemonade cleanse that I had made. If you haven't watched that video, you can watch that video. But I sort of came across some information for the video. I love Spirit for that. You know, allowing me to receive the information to help with this video, because I came across this word, which is a part of the title for the video or thumbnail, whichever I choose to do. But the word emetophobia, and here is a lady explaining sort of what it is.
What is emetophobia? I'm going to give you some facts, try and guess what it is. Emetophobia is one of the most widely misunderstood phobias, so much so that many of the people who experience it struggle to talk about it, so it can be known as the secret phobia. Anything up to 97% of the people who experience it are female, and it can lead to avoidance of things like hospitals, alcohol, children, pregnancy, public transport, crowded areas, and restaurants. So what is it that all those things have in common? Well, all of them carry some degree of risk for making you sick. So emetophobia is a fear of vomiting or a fear of becoming sick. If you experience this, or if you just want to find out more about this, then let me know in the comments and I'll do a video.
The lady that was actually speaking is actually a doctor. Per her profile says doctor. So I wanted to say that first. But I also wanted to, the reason, or what I was thinking last night was, I was thinking about an experience that I have had within my own body, and especially as a medium that is clairsentient, we have the ability to clearly feel. And sometimes with that ability, we have to sort of discern whether what we are feeling is actually our feelings or if it is another being's feelings, because as a medium you have the gift of feeling, clear feeling, to know if something is going to maybe be experienced by a family member that's close by, or things like that. And with that being said, I also want to say that if you've ever experienced any type of like trauma or just a negative experience, sometimes that can play or have a part within your, I guess you can say, mediumship or your gifts. And the reason that I say this and the reason that I know this is because it was a part of the experience for a while. But I want to say that also I have spoken about being connected to another being, and within this connection, it being the knowing that they are experiencing something, and because we are connected in a spiritual way, if they feel something or if they're experiencing something in their body, I also feel that because we are connected. And some people call some people do cord cuttings to cut connections from people, like, and you can do that with karmic soulmates and things like that. But honestly, now with my connection, there is no cord cutting because it is with my connection to this other being, right, that is having the experience and that I'm feeling with them. It can't be severed because it's almost like a divine partner. They're like a divine husband, or is that type of connection that just can't be severed, right? So it's mirroring going on, and you probably have heard me speak about it in past videos, but I didn't understand whether I was having the experience within my body because of because of the traumatic experience that happened in the past. Well, I considered it to be a traumatic experience, and I saw the word trauma bond. But anyway, I didn't know if it was because of that person or if it was because of my I guess you can say my divine partner, right? And what I realized is it's just the experience that is happening. And what I wanted to kind of sort of link etometophobia to what I'm speaking about is that karma has a huge play in whether, and it does I wouldn't say a huge play, but it does take a part in your health. And this is also what I wanted to add. If you as a medium have what they call a covering, or most mediums have a protection of spirit over their journey, and especially if you are a twin flame, then you know that journey is protected, and it's just something that goes beyond the experience of a soulmate. And so hold on. There's also another video on this channel where I show myself holding locks of hair from the back of where they had came out after my mom pulled my hair. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because soon after she pulled my hair, and that day that she pulled my hair, right, she also was like yelling in my face, right? And soon after that, she got Rona. And I didn't know, maybe she had it then while she was yelling in my face, but I didn't catch it. I didn't catch Rona at all. And that is when I realized that I have a spiritual covering over myself. Not even just that, but my cousin went to LA, and this is in the year of 2020. And when he came back, he had Rona, and I had been in the house, and my aunt had been coming around, and she had it, and they're just at the other house, because I told you it's two houses. Anyway, she had been coming around, but she had been wearing a mask, but my cousin was just in the house and, and had it. I went into my mom's house during that year, and that was kind of after I realized it. And also that day that my mom pulled my hair, my brother was with my mom, and he was yelling too. Like, he was just like, I dare you to hit my mom. I dare you to hit my mom. But I wasn't going to hit her. They were enraged. And I just told her, we'll talk when you calm down. And I said it in a really calm voice. And that's the thing. You have to be aware of how to respond and not react to things, not to be reactive, especially within, what do they call it? When there's adversity in if there's any adversity, you have to become aware of how to respond. And that could be very difficult. But anyway, he was yelling, and then soon after that, that experience that was had, my brother and my mom had Rona, COVID. And my cousin had came back from LA and he had it. My great aunt, she had it. And they were coming around me and I didn't get it. Even when I went to jail in the year of 2021, where there were people that were coughing around my food, sometimes talking without mask on their face over my food. And sometimes I would eat the food because I would just be that hungry, right? And hoping that, but that's farther in the story that I was going to, or that was further in the conversation that I'm trying to have. Anyway, I realized that there was some type of protective covering over my experience. And when I started having these experiences within my body that were connected to my divine partner, I realized that there was just something different about the experience. But the reason that I spoke about emetophobia is for the reason that during the pandemic in 2020, I sort of built or I experienced fear around sickness. And I think that I don't want to say that it was to the extremes of emetophobia. I think that the fear was just around, Rona, catching Rona. Like, you hear me not even saying the word because I just don't want to manifest it. I don't want to manifest COVID, but I'm saying it for the reason of this video, right? But when I was eating very much plant-based and drinking a lot of water, and I went from 252 pounds to 138 pounds, I think that had a play within it. I want to say, you may have heard me say this or another spiritualist say this, that your thoughts, feelings, and emotions create your reality, okay? That has been said, right? And so the reason that I guess you can say have been shy about speaking about Rona was for the reason that when you continue to speak something, you can sometimes manifest it. But when, there can also be certain things that can be done to, repel these certain energies. And I think that at some point of my journey, I realized that for some people, because not everybody, I guess you can say, is considered a chosen being, sometimes because they are unaware, they speak or do actions to create karma for themselves, and sometimes that is the reason they become unwell. Like, not only when my hair started, when my hair was coming out back there, because it's like 9 strands of hair or something like that, and also my great aunt, she had pulled my hair. But here's the thing, I think that in order for me to be healthy and present and in alignment, I had to become aware of forgiveness so that I can also be forgiven for the things that I did, because I became aware that, accountability. But I stole my mom's car. It wasn't the intention of doing that. Like, that wasn't the intention for it to be like grand theft. But anyway, even in jail, there was this, I guess you can say CO, correctional officer, but he was a manager. And when he lifted up the chair, I hit my head on the back of the brick wall, because I was just unverbal with people, because people would be speaking to me without mask on and things like that. And so the reason that I bring up emetophobia is because my silence during that time was kind of for that reason. When people would talk to me, I would just like not talk to them and hope that their breath wouldn't be like right in my face, And I also thought about how fear, the word fear. And I saw this on a Twin Flames video, and the acronyms for fear were false evidence appearing real, right? And so if we are strong enough to create our experiences, then, and I also want to say that I saw this video of this 3-legged cat, and the cat had cancer and one of the back legs was missing, and they said that the cat only had like a month or a couple weeks to live, and because the cat became very happy with the owner, making it very happy, the cat is still alive. And I want to say that being in joy and being in love and light, those things are what can create a healthy experience. So I sort of shifted from being in a fear perspective to being in a loving perspective, even if people have wronged me. But at the same time, I had to become aware also of what I heard, boundaries, and just being aware of how to not allowing people to take advantage, of my loving energy. So that also means that, sometimes when I've had enough, I've had enough. But I've realized that some experiences are meant to happen, because without those experiences, I wouldn't understand the covering that I have over myself. And when we say covering, a covering is basically like, especially as a medium, we may feel or experience slight experience of sickness to understand either another person's energy or experience, but it's rare, or we may experience slight things to allow us that maybe somebody's going to come around that's going to be experiencing something. Like maybe we may have an irritation in our throat, right before somebody comes around, or we may get like it can be like a slight, I wouldn't say headache, but it's like a feeling around the head, kind of almost like a headache, to show us like, oh, this person, this is what they're experiencing within their body, right? But I think I'm just getting really far into speaking about mediumship, and I kind of want to bring it back to the topic of being emetophobia. I think that I wouldn't call what I was experiencing emetophobia, because I just don't think that, I think that every being during Rona sort of had fear around catching Rona, and thankfully I didn't catch it, and that's when I realized that I had a covering. But also I think that because there were other people in fear, I wouldn't call it emetophobia, because emetophobia is people that they avoid a lot of things altogether. And what else helped me to realize that to bring up this video, to bring up that for this video, is because a lot of times I was experiencing things within my body that, or not even my body, but the ancestors would be like, all right, hold on, they're coming. And they would say like little things like that, and it would just be the ambulance driving by or the police driving by. And I think that before I consciously became aware and became spiritually conscious, I would say I would never go to the hospital or have a reason to go to the hospital. And because my family members had thought that I was unwell at that time. They thought that I was mentally unwell because I wasn't speaking to them, right? Like I just didn't have like verbal communication with them, because I started realizing how what we say, although every being has most beings have a covering, or that are chosen, right? Most chosen beings have like some type of spiritual covering. There can be karma, so that we can learn how to not receive negative karma, I guess you can say. And so when I wasn't speaking with these family members and just becoming aware of the things that they were manifesting for themselves, it kind of was like fear around that. And then I also was doing a reading with a family member, and I've spoken about this in another video, that there was a message about a family member leaving, like, passing away. And so when I was receiving that information, it kind of like, I didn't know the exact family member, but hold on. There was a video of Nicki Minaj speaking about what "Are You Gone Already" and what it meant, and she brought up her father passing. And now that I say that, I realized something about my journey with my twin. And I'll sprinkle this in here, but I'm just not going to give context about it. But you truly know that your twin is your twin when they allow you to receive future information. That like the information that he or helped me to receive was 3 years in advance. And I've also received information that's been like 3 years in advance, or 4 years, or whatever. Anyway, when Nicki was speaking about her father's passing, and she spoke about the dream that she had, she said that the dream came through as like everything that was happening with her dad was happening to her mom in her dream. And the same thing that, in a way, when I was doing that reading with my family members, I had a vision, a clairvoyant message of it being my great aunt that was passing. And within the card, the card was the death card. But the death card in tarot doesn't always mean, it doesn't have to mean a physical death, unless spirit like tells you like, oh, this is unless spirit actually tells you that someone is going to physically have that experience, right? But I don't know, when I received that message during that reading, it sort of was received as the great aunt that I was delivering the message to, and not their sister. But their sister was the great aunt that actually passed away. And it's odd now that I think about it, because Nicki Minaj is she's originally from Trinidad, right? But I guess you can say she had been in New York City for like within her childhood and things like that. Anyway, that great aunt that passed away was actually living in New York City, Brooklyn. And so, yeah, it's amazing how we receive messages. Yeah, like most of us receive messages in dreams and stuff like that. But anyway, just to get back on topic, I think that that sort of is what built the fear around all those things happening. And I heard a spirit say, "You still don't know me," and I'm not sure what that means, right? I'm not sure if that means that the people don't know me or I don't know another person. I'm not sure, but that's what they said. Anyway, although I'm saying anyway, I am still present with what I'm saying. I say all of this to say that I think that even people that have a covering still, we still have experiences that keep us grounded and connected to our like our experience of spirit, like our experience of karma, like, and that's what I want to say. Like within a video that was deleted, the reason that I deleted is because I spoke about my twin's health, and I said that if I truly loved him, I would have the experience that he is having with him. And now that I'm having it, I'm just like, no, I don't want it. But I've also heard that he's not having this exact experience. And because I am the feminine energy within my experience, I think that we have a more metaphysical experience. Metaphysical, like the body is experiencing it through, like, spirit. But like, I spoke about this last year, and that's the reason that I'm not going to really get into detail in this video, because I realized that it's just something that has been happening. And although I receive messages that say, do this and do that and do this and do that, and when they are done, it's just the experience is still present. So even when I say present, right, most of you have watched the other videos, so you already sort of know. But when that experience happened with my great aunt, and when she lifted her hands off of me, right, I think that, I guess when I heard like maybe a year later, a spirit saying, it's a gift. And even though the experience is not desirable, it's not a desirable experience. I wouldn't call it a desirable experience because I wouldn't say it's painful. It's kind of aggravating, just to say the least. It's distracting, it's aggravating, but because it reminds me of my twin, and I know that my twin is actually having I guess you can say the physical experience within the 3D. That's why I'm experiencing it. But also, you may have heard that God gets you ready for your next experience. And because it is an experience that I would possibly have with my twin, and it being something medical, I think because I've had the experience, it's allowed me to somewhat be comfortable with the experience, even though the experience itself isn't comfortable. And that's why I would say that this experience isn't emetophobia or whatever it's called. I wouldn't say that it's that. There were some cops that would be coughing, and then they would come in the room without their mask on, and I would be so hungry. And I think that it was God's allowing me that experience to say, you're hungry, but you're going to have to get over your fear. Like, there was this CO that said, he said, Jesus didn't fear for 365 days, which is like a full year, right? Never did Jesus fear. But when he said that, I thought, well, being non-fearing is kind of what got me into that experience of jail. So I was kind of fearful after, being non-fearful, but I had to continue to allow myself to experience life, even if it would have brought something undesirable, And the experience that I have or have had that is connected to either the family member or my twin is present and it is happening. So, yeah. And this is just like, yeah. I was going to make my, I know what else I want to speak about, because this will probably be like the final video about what I'll be speaking about. Before I totally jump into that conversation, I want to say that because I would say things in the past like, oh, most gay men, well, I wouldn't say most gay men, but when people find out that a gay man is gay or a man is gay or bisexual, the first thing that they relate it to is having HIV or AIDS. Yet I don't have any of those ailments, but in the past I used to say, if I truly loved a person, it wouldn't matter if they had HIV or not. If I loved them, I would take the precautions to or not take the precaution. Like, this is something that I used to say, right? Like, I'm just not in that experience now because of the experiences that I've had. Like, I've realized that, protection is a great thing. And not to say that I would be unprotected with my sexual encounters because I only had one partner. But anyway. I say this because, when I spoke about my family members that caught Rona, I didn't know if it was their karma for treating me the way that they did. But, I also had karma that I experienced when the cop had, allowed me to hit my head on the brick wall. I didn't know if it was for being disobedient, or I didn't know if it was for stealing my mom's vehicle. And it was just like don't do it again, kind of, in a way. But anyway, I want to say this because this was kind of the energy that I was in prior to going to jail, is that I wouldn't wear a mask because I had seen other spiritualists speaking about, the body and how mucus, and I made a video on why I went vegan, right? And it was a good thing that I went vegan at that time also, is because the Dr. Sebi speaks about how mucus is what actually holds the bacteria within the body. And so I did a lot of fasting and just trying to flush out, all of the mucus so that I wouldn't have any type of way to hold the Rona in the body. I didn't want, any parts of it. So even when I would be around people, and this is still like maybe a current thing, is that I can, clairsent is a thing. And when my brother had Rona and I went to the house not knowing that he had Rona, I smelt the sickness on, like, within the house. Or when people have the flu, it's sort of a smell that it has. And I would know to either keep my distance from those people. And, that's probably a whole nother video, because that's like protection, right? But even with people that would have some type of ailment, I would experience like slight I guess you can say, slight touches of it to understand that they were unwell, but I wouldn't really attract the sickness. Now with my divine counterpart is different because we have our soul is like, it's like not a contract, but we are on the same soul journey. It's a soul journey. So I just saw 444. And yeah. So I would say, I'm not even sure where I didn't wear a mask even when I was going to the grocery store, and so I had the great aunt. My great aunt would bring groceries and stuff like that because she knew I just didn't enjoy going to the grocery store. But I think she started to understand why I didn't go to the grocery store, you know. And I'm grateful for that because it helped me to understand that sometimes you cannot understand the love that you are receiving. Sometimes you can't see it, or you're just unaware of it while you're experiencing it. But when you self-reflect on the way that you acted and the way that they acted, and just kind of try to be aware of it all, then you understand how much you are truly loved. I mean, you know, for those family members to have Rona and for me not to catch it, I'm very grateful for that, you know? And when I would hear beings or other spiritualists say that they wouldn't get the shots for, you know, the antiviral for Rona or whatever, they would speak about those things, and most of them wouldn't catch it. And the people that would get the shots, like those family members that did get the antiviral medication and things like that, they would often get Rona. And so there are some people that didn't take the shots that would get it, and they would have it, you know, worse than other people. But I want to say that when I hear the words, you have everything you need, often what I think about is how we have water that comes from the sky. We have rain. We have plants that we can eat. You know, and granted, you know, men started killing animals. And I mean, that's kind of like the circle of life for animals. Some animals kill other animals to eat them. So I'm aware that some beings follow Dr. Sebi's methods as far as like eating plant-based and eating vegan and raw veganism. And a lot of beings have had like very great stories you know, about becoming a raw vegan. As you may know, that I was diagnosed in 2013 with not only a mass, but but Crohn's disease was the diagnosis. And after I became plant-based and started eating better, I had no flare-ups. And after I started eating meat in jail, that's when I wouldn't call it a flare, but I did see blood within the stool. And I think that it was because I just wasn't hydrated enough. So I think that I'm going to say this for, you know, educational purposes. I think that the poo was just hard. It was just like dehydrated, you know? So it kind of, I think it scraped the insides when it was coming out. But anyway, I want to say that somebody said you're really rough. I think they're talking about what I'm saying. But anyway, I try to become aware of all of the things about the experience that are true. Like, the cat healing itself, and when people heal themselves just by being in joy and loving energy, if that's true, then we should be able to create like a big covering over ourselves to keep ourselves healthy and in loving energy. Now, I also think that it's important also to I was just going to say it, and then it just kind of got away. Hold on. It's just not true for some people. Some people do experience certain ailments. When I was speaking to my grandmother, I was asking her about what age did she realize that she was a diabetic. Diabetic? Or is it diabetic or diabetic? Anyway, I asked her about, what age did she realize that she was a diabetic, because my mom actually, it just runs. I heard that, I said it runs. I heard that it's just something that I guess mainly African American or people of color have that experience within their genes. Not to manifest it, but just saying that that is a statistic, I guess you can say. I say all of that to say you have to be aware of what is best for you and your body, because I've noticed that I have researched, and something that I told my mom, and I think she was just upset because I was kind of like telling her, like, our teeth aren't made to eat meat. We actually have flat teeth, like herbivores. Like, we do have the two canine teeth, right? The yellow is from the filter, not like my teeth aren't that yellow. It's just from the filter. Anyway, if they are that yellow, then I'll go brush them. But y'all ain't kissing me, so don't worry about that. Y'all ain't kissing me unless I'm allowing it, unless God is allowing it. Anyway. When if we have teeth like herbivores, our bodies aren't designed to eat meat, but there are some people who naturally have sharper teeth, so maybe their bodies are made to eat meat. Maybe it's right for them and not right for us. But anyway, our teeth, normal, like the average human teeth, are made flat like herbivore teeth. I know that's a little shorter. It has a cap on it. The tooth does. Not like what I'm saying is cap, but what I'm saying is actually truthful information. When I researched it, it said that the average human teeth are flat like herbivores. Like they're flat. They're not like sharp like a shark teeth or some type of lion or things like that. They're not sharp like that. Like canine teeth, or what they call meat eaters, or do they call it omnivores that eat both meat and plants? I think our teeth are made kind of like that. And I mean, if that is right, then that's perfect. But I would suggest that beings eat to be happy. But I've also heard from a spiritualist, what did he say? Eat to stay alive, don't stay alive to eat. And once I understood that, that kind of helped solidify the eating happy, because if you see something that you're truly going to enjoy, there are some people that smoke cigarettes for their entire life and can live to see 100 and whatever years old. So you also have to know what's your purpose for eating the foods that you're eating, or doing the things that you're doing. What is the purpose behind it? Because if you're eating plant-based foods and eating plant-based to live a longer life, maybe because a family member didn't live to see a certain age, maybe, right? Because I was thinking about Tabitha Brown when she said that her mom lived to see like 50 something, I think, and that's still a young age when you think about it, knowing that some people live to see 80 and 90 and 100. knowing that some people love to see the age that is still young, 50, right? But her choices to start eating healthy came from that. And that's the way that her body, it healed itself. And she also made a deal with God. She aligned with God, and that is her path, right? And so also for my story, I think, I became a plant-based eater, but I also think that Spirit said don't tell y'all that, because I probably put it in another video. But anyway, I became aware of what it meant to be healthy, and what it actually means to be healthy, and how to eat to not only be healthy but to enjoy food. There's a lot of food that is vegan that is good. There's a lot of food that is meat that is good and not as bad for you, anyway. This video was kind of supposed to be about emetophobia, but it kind of took a turn to something else. I seen this Instagrammer, and they had on their story, wear your mask. And I thought about the people that my aunt and family members, them wearing a mask, and how most of them that wore a mask still got Rona, and the person that didn't wear a mask, until I was in the hospital, kind of being when I was in the hospital. This hospital experience that I'm talking about was in the year of 2021, and they put a mask on me, and it was for the reason of, I wouldn't say being disobedient, but speaking out and being aware of everything that was happening. Anyway, they put a mask on me, and if they wouldn't have put a mask on me, I probably wouldn't have been wearing a mask, honestly. But yeah, I say all of this to say that some people have a covering, and some people that don't have a covering, or don't consider themselves to be, some people that consider themselves to be connected, they're connected to spirit at a certain level, and there are beings that are truly connected to spirit, that experience spirit every day, that have we are truly covered, right? Because and this is what I'll end the video with, saying that when I was around 138 pounds, and this is what kind of somewhat triggered me into eating meat again, and not caring if it was vegan or meat products, is because when I was trying to start fasting again, and I was drinking a lot of water and eating very plant-based, trying to get back to a strict way of dieting, I started sneezing. And I think that God was kind of awakening me to the realization that it had control over my experience, and it was covering me from being sick, so that I could be healthy and be able to operate in a healthy way, so that I could be presenting as very healthy, So when I started sneezing, and I started sneezing or coughing and things like that, I sort of had to have a journey of understanding why I was experiencing those things, although I was being very healthy. Even if I would cover my mouth, or I think I tried to cover my mouth, when I knew that there was going to be an experience like that, and I would still be sneezing and coughing. And so I realized that it was just something more. It was a spiritual experience. It was the experience of understanding that the covering, it was God covering me. That is the reason that I didn't have Rona. Yeah. And some people that don't have a covering, they can become ill if they are like, if they just, it's just a way of life, I guess you can say. But anyway, to keep from going on a wagon wheel, I guess you could say a wagon wheel or a roller coaster of thoughts, I will allow y'all to have that information or receive that information. And with that being said, until we meet again, Toodaloo, I love you.
It's my heart, but there's just one thing I need from you. Say I do, because I can see us holding hands, walking on the beach, our toes in the sand. I can see us on the countryside, sitting on the grassland side by side. You could be my baby, let me make you my lady. Girl, you amaze me, ain't gotta do nothing crazy. See, all I want you to do is be my love.